Have you ever looked at Python code and seen something like star args or double star kwargs and thought, what on earth does that mean? Don't worry. By the end of this tutorial, you'll completely understand what they do, why they exist, and when to actually use them in your own code. Let's get into it. Welcome to Python star args and double star kwargs. Variable arguments explained for beginners. This is a complete visual guide. Imagine you're writing a function to add two numbers. Simple enough. You define a function called add that takes parameters a and b and returns their sum. When you call add with 3 and 5, you get 8. But here's the problem. What if someone wants to add 3 numbers? Or 5? To do that, you'd have to keep rewriting the function every time. That's exactly the problem star args and double star kwargs solve. They let your function accept as many arguments as needed, without you having to predict that number up front. Star args lets a function collect any number of positional arguments into a single variable as a tuple. Think of it like a bag. No matter how many items you throw in, it holds all of them. Let's look at the code. We define a function called addAll with star numbers as a parameter. When we call addAll with just 1 and 2, it returns 3. When we call it with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it returns 15. And when we call it with just 10, it returns 10. Notice the star before numbers? That's the magic. The name numbers is just a label. You can call it anything you want. Let's see what star args looks like inside a function. We define showItems with star items. When we print the type of items, we see it's a tuple. And when we print items itself, we see the tuple containing all the arguments we passed. Since it's a tuple, you can loop over it, check its length with len, or index into it like items at position 0. The star before items is what tells Python to collect all positional arguments into a tuple. Double star kwargs lets a function collect any number of keyword arguments into a single variable as a dictionary. Keyword arguments are the ones where you provide a name along with the value, like name equals Alex or age equals 25. Let's look at display profile with double star info. When we print the type of info, we see it's a dictionary. And when we print info itself, we see all the named arguments we passed. A double star is what tells Python to collect named arguments into a dictionary. Since kwargs is a dictionary, you use .get or direct key access to retrieve values. Let's look at greet user with double star details. We use .get with a default value for both name and language. When we call greet user with name equals Sarah and language equals Python, we get hello Sarah, we'll teach you Python. When we call it with just name equals Tom, we get hello Tom, we'll teach you English. Using .get with a default value means your function won't crash if a key is missing. You can use both star args and double star kwargs in the same function. Just remember the order. Regular parameters first, star args next, and double star kwargs last. Let's look at order summary. It takes restaurant as a regular parameter, star dishes for extra positional arguments, and double star extras for keyword arguments. When we call it with Burger King, Whopper, and fries, plus drink equals Coke, and delivery equals true, Burger King goes to restaurant. Whopper and fries get packed into the dishes tuple, and drink and delivery get packed into the extras dictionary. The star and double star symbols are what do the work. The names args and kwargs are just a widely used convention. You can use any valid variable name like star items, star values, double star options, or double star params. That said, sticking with star args and double star kwargs makes your code immediately recognizable to other Python developers. So it's best to follow the convention unless you have a specific reason not to. The star and double star symbols also work in reverse. You can use them to unpack a list or dictionary and pass the values into a function as separate arguments. Let's look at multiply, which takes 3 parameters, x, y, and z. We have a list values containing 2, 3, and 4. When we call multiply with star values, Python unpacks the list and passes 2, 3, and 4 as separate arguments, giving us 24. Similarly, double star unpacks a dictionary into keyword arguments. This is really useful when your data is already stored in a list or dictionary. Let's look at a real-world example. A flexible calculator. This function takes star numbers to accept any number of values, and operation as a keyword argument with a default of sum. When we call calculate with 4, 7, 2, and 9, it returns 22 by default, using sum. When we specify operation equals max, it returns 9, and when we specify operation equals product, it returns 30. One function, multiple operations, all made possible by star args and cat truz. Here's another common pattern. A logging wrapper. This function takes any function as the first parameter, then star args and double star catrods to forward all arguments. It prints that it's running the function, calls the function with all the forwarded arguments, prints the result, and returns it. When we wrap our power function and call log and run with power 2 and 10, it logs that it's running power, executes it, and returns $dolobro. This pattern lets you add behavior around any function without changing the original. Let's build a customizable card component. This function takes a title and double star options for any number of customizable parameters. We use .get with defaults for border, color, and footer. When we call render card with just my profile, we get a card with default solid border and white color. When we call it with settings and specify color equals gray, border equals dashed, and footer equals version 1.0, we get a fully customized card. This is how frameworks build flexible components. Let's cover common mistakes to avoid. First, don't mix up positional and keyword arguments. If a function only takes star args, you can't pass keyword arguments to it. Second, never put double star kochts before star args. That causes a syntax error. Always use the order: regular parameters, star args, then double star kochts. Third, don't expect required parameters inside kochts. Named parameters that match a defined argument go to that argument directly, not into kochts. Keep these in mind and you'll avoid most pitfalls. Here's a quick reference to keep handy. Star args collects extra positional arguments and stores them as a tuple. You access them by index or by looping. It must come before double star cat @riz. Double star cat rids collects extra keyword arguments and stores them as a dictionary. You access them using .get or direct key access. It must come after star args. The star symbol is for positional. Double star is for keyword. Remember this table, and you'll always know which to use. Let's recap everything. Star args collects unlimited positional arguments into a tuple. Double star kotrides collects unlimited keyword arguments into a dictionary. You can use star and double star to unpack lists and dictionaries when calling functions. Order matters. Regular parameters, star args, then double star kotrides. Don't overuse them. If you know your parameters, name them explicitly. Once you get comfortable with these, you'll start seeing them everywhere in decorators. Frameworks like Flask and Django, and class inheritance. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more Python tutorials. Happy coding!